Hello, my name is Jack Northcutt, and I am from Team Number 10, Project19, the solar system designer. You can see here I'm showing you Sprint 10, which we just finished on the 2nd of April, so this week, and we just had started our last and final sprint, Sprint 11. So I'm just going to walk you through Sprint 10. This sprint, we kind of wanted to get some graphical things fixed up and work on more camera controls and some Cappy server side issues that we had. So first I'll show you motion physics. We added some things to fix retrograde orbit, camera controls to like follow larger planets by default, and testing with Moon. That didn't work out so well because our scaling is off. So a large planet takes up more Unity units, and there were some issues with that basically we had to talk to the sponsor on what we should do to redesign the scaling issue, which is not a big deal. It's just changing some numbers around, but we wanted to see what the best way to do that, and he kind of gave us guidance on that. Collision. We have improved the graphics a bit, and we're still having some issues with collision, but we think it still has to do with that scaling issue, which we're fixing in Sprint 11. So we'll have that going. Developer experience. This is kind of like we're just trying to make our project the best it can be for the next group or next set of people that touch this project. They'll have a better understanding of the file structures and the scenes, and be able to easily navigate it. User interface. We've made a lot of little changes to this. Some brand new things is we have a drop down camera targeting. So now you could drop down from a menu, select different planets, a manual initial velocity. So you can now choose to enter initial velocity or have one auto-generated by Kepler's laws, Kepler's third law, and we have camera targeting where you can click on planets and it'll switch camera targets. Then there were some linking issues that we worked on, and some other like small just menu items that needed some fixing. And some server improvements. Our server was getting real laggy. There was something going on with loops updating too often, so we needed to work on the Cappy interface to reduce some of that. And then also like dot notation and things like that were just little tips and tricks provided by our sponsor that would make things easier for us. Now let me open Unity up here, and so here we are. If I hit play, these planets kind of blow up. There was just two planets stacked on top of each other, just for a demo purpose. But now you can see the star is actually in this position. The star is actually moving really fast, through space, and the camera's just following it. But I can come here and select, hey, I want to select that planet. Now we get a different perspective. We're actually watching from the planet's point of view, and it almost looks like the sun is orbiting around the planet. So we can zoom out here, and it was kind of cool because it's kind of like, that's what they thought back in the day, and that's kind of why they thought like that. But anywho, I could also like say I wanted to pause, and I could just switch back to the camera. And this next sprint, I'm trying to link up these two menus, so it's you can see that better. But anyways, yep, it looks like that. And then I wanted to kind of show you if we add an object. Let's say just call it Jack, a radius of 1. The radius things are going to be fixed next week to where it actually scales with an actual real solar system. Give it a mass of 1. We'll get a position, let's say 3, And you can see we got this phantom object now. It could show you just like, hey, here's where you're going to insert a planet at. This is the size of your planet. So we'll put that in, and then I'll like uncheck initial velocity this time, and I'll put like 10,000, and I'll put negative 10,000 so it goes the same way. And you could just see it I didn't have enough initial velocity and the thing just shot into space. Well, let's try that again. Minus 30,000. Boom. And you can see now that like I was able to create, I guess I shouldn't have did minus, but anyways, I kind of got like a retrograde orbit now, but you can see now I got more of an elliptical orbit because how I calculated this velocity. So that's a cool little feature we got added in this sprint. And hopefully by the next sprint we can do a lot of cool things. But like I said, you can now, like I can say, hey, here's Jack and Jack, and here's a Jack that's like all the way out in space flying around. And I shouldn't have named them the same thing. That was my mistake. But those little user interface issues are things we'd fix in this next sprint. So overall, yes, we did meet our sprint goals. We talked to our sponsor, and he told us that we're doing great, and we are pretty much done with our project. And this next sprint, he just said add stuff and fix user interface issues, like just handle, make sure the user can't enter improper things and such. So that is what we are working on now, and thank you very much.